In the name of Amen the Supreme, the all-powerful, the one and only true Lord, in Amen we trust, as the Republic of Mentellect, the real 144,000 is being gathered in this day and time, the Mentellians. Menzeka Aminun to all of my Mentellian brothers and sisters out there, registered members of the Republic of Mentellect, and to all future Mentellians who have yet to find their way home to the Republic of Mentellect, which is Amen's community. I send greetings out to you, and I send peace out to you in our Mentellian language by saying to you, Menzeka Aminun. Good evening, I'm your host, the intellectual Nuben Menkares, and this is Mentellect Radio, and tonight we're going to be discussing the evolution of sex without emotion and romance. Question: if romance was never presented, if romance and emotion was never presented in the context of sexual encounters, would people stop having sex? I just need to know. Would people stop having sex if there was no emotion, if we were not taught that emotion and romance was supposed to be involved in it? Would people stop having sex? Of course not. This whole idea of romance and emotion is something that was created here in this society. That was created in this society. Right? We saw sex as necessity. Obviously, it is a necessity because you'll have people, if they can't have somebody to be physical with, women, things like that, they can't have somebody to be physical with, they might resort to using objects or pleasuring themselves and things like that. They may resort to that because sex is obviously a necessity. It's a need. It's a desire. It's a need. Now, people say, is it necessary or is it a desire? Of course it's necessary. The mechanics of it is necessary. And it can go beyond the desire. However, the rule of engagement, the next rule of engagement for intelligent people who wish to engage in a sexual encounter should be a coming together, a merger, a sexual merger with somebody who is mentally stimulating, not somebody who you are emotionally driven by or that you are romantically driven by. See, because those things fade. Emotion and romance will always fade. So anything that you have in the context of romance and emotion and unison and connection with sex, it eventually fades. Like you notice when you no longer have emotions or have that romantic feeling for somebody, you don't want to have sex with them because that's how you linked up with these people to start having sexual intercourse, right? But when you link up with people who are very intelligent, have a huge view of the future, right? A big picture. They can see the bigger picture and somebody who can extend you into the bigger picture. That's the person you're supposed to have sex with. If anything, that's the person you're supposed to encounter with, right? Not somebody who can just tell you things, because people can fake emotion and romance all the time. You can't fake intelligence. You cannot fake intelligence. You can fake romance. You can fake emotion, but you cannot fake intelligence. You see? And if you truly want the best sexual encounter, it's best not to be phony about it. It's best not to have any preconceived notions or ideas of romance and emotion, because romance and emotion, I've always found, gets in the way of sex. Romance and emotion gets in the way of sex. Pure sex. Because you have adulterated sex and you have pure sex. Adulterated sex, impure, unpure sex is riddled with emotion and romance. Now, I know that sounds funny to a lot of people who are all caught up on hand-holding and romance and you my man, I'm your woman, we together, I love you, and that's why we having sex. I know a lot of people think that what I'm saying, it sounds kind of crazy. But think about it. Think about what's being said here. Because as soon as that person no longer has that emotional feeling for you, that in-love thing or that romantic energy for you, then the sex is done. So was the sex ever real in the first place? It was temporary. Again, people are not going to get stupid overnight. They may act stupid, but intelligent people will not get stupid overnight. So if you are attracted to somebody sexually because of their intelligence, that can last forever. And if they don't have that intelligence, then you shouldn't be even connecting with these people. Right? You shouldn't even be connecting with these people. You should be driven sexually by a person's intelligence. You should want to lay with somebody who turns you on mentally, and that's it. Not emotionally, not romantically. Mentally turns you on, and that's it. That's it. You see, problem is, people get the emotion and the romance part connected with it. See, this is why we don't have intelligent connections. This was exactly why. This is exactly why we don't have intelligent connections. This is exactly why our connections always fade. They always end with foolishness and stupidity and nonsense. Right? This is exactly why that happens. Yet, if there was an intelligent connection, an intelligent and pure sexual connection, an intelligent connection, then that could last forever. See, people make allowances for things when there's intelligence involved. See, there's no room for intelligence when emotion and romance is involved, because that is the most unstable energy when sex is connected to that. It is the most unstable energy. And men tend to, real men, not boys, not males, real men tend to like stability, mental stability in their sexual encounters with a woman. In other words, they don't want no crazy chick. They don't want a crazy chick. They don't want somebody who's crazed with emotion and romance and all this other madness, right? They don't want that. They want somebody who they can depend upon sexually if you're going to encounter with that person and know that, okay, well, if I'm dealing with this person, this person, the emotion and romance, I don't have to worry about that. Our thing is not based on that. So therefore, we have more of a chance of longevity, because, again, you want to be attracted to a person's intelligence. And that's, again, they call those people sapiosexuals, right? Ain't that what they call them? You ever hear, or you ever think that most of these black relationships out here are based on some sort of sapiosexual or some, as we refer to as mental sexual attraction? No, it's not. It's based on the illusion of emotion and romance. An illusion. So, like all illusions eventually end. Right? All illusions eventually end. And you're going to want to replace that with something that's real. Right? You're going to want to replace that with something that's real. Right? They don't want an intelligent or an intelligent attachment. They want an emotional attachment, which is wrong. Wrong. They want an emotional attachment. You want somebody calling you 50 goddamn times a day. How you doing? I love talking. That coming from a man will quickly turn a woman off. That coming from a man will quickly turn a woman off. When a man is, how y'all women say, a man is sprung over you, and you make jokes about people like that, men who are sprung over you sexually. Right? You don't like that. Y'all really don't. But it's partly the woman's fault, because you insist that sexual encounters be romantic and emotional. You insist that. So when you start moving off of that kind of energy and vibration, then the man picks up on that as well, and he starts to form himself or mold himself to what it is that you want to try and please you, while he's molding himself to the emotional and romantic part, because that's what the woman wants, or that's at least what she thinks she wants. Then she finds out over time from him that's not really what she wants. You see? And then she's on to somebody else. After a while, she leaves, and she's on to somebody else who is more unemotional and not so romantic, right? And the reason why that tends to be is because the man who is like that, right, on a certain level, depending on the level of the man who is like that, the man is guarded when it comes to those things, because he knows that is instability. And a woman, you're asking for a lot of trouble when you don't cater to these things in a woman. You're asking for problems. If you don't cater to romance and emotion and things like that, they're going to crucify you. They're going to make you feel like the worst person in the world. They're going to make you feel like a womanizer, misogynist, what all the other terms the women use for men who, have a lot of women sexually. But they don't think maybe this man has a lot of women sexually because he is an intelligent man, and women are attracted to an intelligent man. And it makes sense that this man would have access to a lot of women because he is an intelligent man, a highly intelligent man. You see? Even on a low level, these niggas who call themselves players, even that takes some level of intelligence to call yourself a player or be a player to say things that you think women want to hear. But I don't consider that to be intelligent because I don't like to lie. Me, myself, I don't like lies and I don't like games. But on a low level, that player thing could be considered a level of intelligence. And most women are attracted to players. The reason why a lot of these women are attracted to players who are not emotional and romantic in their thoughts, the reason why women are attracted to them because it takes some level of intelligence to know how to manipulate a woman, and that's what a player does. A player manipulates a woman, right? And that translates a woman as somebody who is cunning, smart, right? Someone who has some sort of knows, who might have a way with words, right? And he knows how to put those words together. He knows how to convince a woman to have that encounter with him, to be with him sexually. And a lot of women deep down inside secretly admire that. If a man knows what to say to a woman, how to say it, what tone and frequency say, that's a level of intelligence right there. And women like that. They do. They like that a lot more than some nigga, oh, baby, I love you. You my heart, you my soul, you my... Women don't like that. They don't. They only think they do. And the reason why they think they do is because they've been programmed by the beast. They've been programmed by the so-called white man with soap operas, with love songs, right? And all the BS in this society to make them think that that's really what they want, but they really don't want that. You know why you know that? Because as soon as they get some guy like that, and this guy is all into them and loving them and all this other stuff, the minute that happens, they like, this nigga too emotional. I don't like this. He just all into me too much. They won't come out and say it that way, but that's really what it translates into. That's really what it translates into. Oh, they'll say stuff like, he doing too much, or, he bringing me flowers all the time, and he trying to do this, that, and the third. Now, most of these women will claim, I'd like that. I don't know what kind of women wouldn't like that. No, you wouldn't. The women who say, I'd like that is because you never had that done before. You see, but when you have a man who is emotional and romantic, you women usually get turned off by that over time. You get turned off. You see, I've seen it happen. Women will get turned off one time for a man who is sexually and emotionally connected to them, because that's not what a man is supposed to be. A man is not supposed to take time out to cater to emotional and romantic nonsense. He is supposed to continue moving forward on a highly intelligent vibe that is driven by the Creator, and that drive that moves through him from the Creator, Amen. That drive that moves through him from the Most High is what really attracts women. That focus. You understand that? That's what ultimately attracts women. Like, you ever see these women who when they want a man to be into them and whatnot, he just ain't into them like that. He might be on something high. He ain't into all that emotional. They get more turned on more by the fact that he ain't into them. Now, why is that? Tell me I'm wrong. When a man is not into you like that, when men are just not, they might like you, but they ain't all crazy over head over heels and things like that. They more analytical and logical and intelligent in their vision of what they're doing. They may be connected. They're probably more than likely connected to the Creator, to the Most High. Again, women tend to like that. They might get pissed off a little bit by it, but they like it, because that means that he's not under that spell. He's not under that illusion of emotion and romance. Because again, you women, y'all claim you like that, but the reality is y'all really don't. Because there's plenty of males out here who will be romantic with you, who will place you on a pedestal, who will call you a goddess, a princess, a queen, or whatever you want to hear, right? And buy you the flowers and all this stuff. But after a while, you ain't going to want to do that no more. Because the reality of who you are is going to set in. And the reality of what women are is pragmatic and submissive to higher intelligence coming from a man. A woman will be pragmatic and submissive and following and wanting to and desiring to lay with a man who she senses is strong mentally, right? She will want to be with that man over time. Why you think you see one man, he'll have a whole bunch of women, right? And he might not be into any of them. He might be into a higher level of thinking, might be connected to the Creator. He might not be into them. And they like the fact that he does not give energy to them like that, because he is a high intellectual. The high intellectual is the one who's connected to the Creator. That's the intellectual. The intellectual is not just some clown that's sitting up here reading some white man books and trying to sound like Caucasians. That's not an intellectual, trying to sound smart. The true intellectual, or as we say, the mentallectual, the true intellectual is the one who is connected to the Creator, to the Most High, to the Most Continuous, which is Amen. That is the true intellectual. And women love, right? Real women love that man. And the women, even the females, will be intrigued by that man. They may not get with that man, but they are intrigued. Because most women are taught today that men are supposed to drop down on their knees for a piece of vagina, for some sex. They're taught that they're supposed to drop down on their knees and be ready to beg and be ready to cater and be ready to massage your feet and all this other and bring you your food, and I'll pay your rent. I'll buy you dinner too, like that nigga Babyface made that song, "Soon as I get home from work." You understand? You see? The all-time simp song. This nigga out working, then he gonna come home and do all this stuff for this woman, not mentioning anything that she had to do for him. You see? It's all one-sided. That's not natural for a man. That is not natural for a man to think like that. It is not natural for a man to react like that. That's pure simp mode. And that's what that's what the white man really wants a lot of these males to be in society, is a bunch of simps. And they try to get you women to go along with it. But the reality always sinks in that you women don't really want that. You don't really want that. How many women done had affairs with men on their jobs, men who are about business and things like that, men who are business people, they might have an affair with their boss and stuff like that because he's just not into them like that. The husband sitting at home, he into them, he all loving and romantic. They don't want him, they want their boss who ain't really into them. He's thinking about that next deal over that piece of ass. He's thinking about that next deal. He's thinking about that next move and whatnot to grow the company, to make things bigger so that she has opportunities, he has opportunities, and more people have opportunities. See the bigger picture. That's what the man is focused on, and that's what turns the woman on. Not, I'm you my world, you my girl, you my life, you my wife. Nobody want to hear that shit. That's a broken record, man. That is a broken goddamn record. And you women, like I said, the women they never stay with men like that for real. They don't want to admit it, but they know exactly what I'm saying is the truth. It's reality. I'm not going to say it's reality. Who are you going to really respect the person who kisses your ass? Are you going to really respect a person, a man? You respect the man who kisses your ass, and that's not the nature of a man? That's not supposed to be the nature of a man. A man is supposed to be emotionless and pragmatic and intelligent in his connection with the Creator. And women are supposed to be driven and turned on by that. See, because that will last a lot longer than some trivial, two-dimensional, possessive nonsense about, it's us and me and you and me and you and me and you and me and all this other nonsense. Let's cut the nonsense out. See, because if you want real, long-lasting encounters, and you want to get the most out of your sexual encounters with the person you're dealing with, if you want that, then you let the man be who he is by nature. Let the man be who he is by nature. And if that's not who he is by nature, then you let his ass go. If the worst thing you women want is a man who puts you on a pedestal and worship you as a goddess and a queen and all this other BS. That's the worst thing you want. Now, I know a lot of these black sis stars that will end up listening to this on YouTube. Oh, I want a man to treat me like a queen and a goddess. BS. 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 They do not. That's a lie. They want a man who is highly intelligent and dismissive to all sorts of emotional and romantic nonsense. That's what they want, because that man represents rationality. That man represents rationality. Because a lot of times when you women get caught up in your emotions, you are no longer rational. You are no longer rational when you get caught up in your emotions and your romantic notions that you think a man is supposed to do to follow you. Because again, that's not even really coming from you. That's coming from the white man. You were programmed that way. The beast programmed you. I told you through them damn romantic novels and soap operas and all this other BS. That's why you in Valentine's Day, they make sure they run that goddamn commercial where you buying your woman some box of candy and hearts and all this other nonsense. All strictly for promotion and the consumption of money and things like that. And again, when you allow this is the beast. This is the beast controlling your encounters, right? This is the beast controlling your encounters. This is what your encounters look like, your sexual encounters and your connections looks like under the beast. It's filled with a whole bunch of emotional nonsense and chaos and confusion, because romance and emotion eventually brings chaos and confusion. Why do I say that? When one person no longer wants to do that, and it's always the one person who no longer wants to do that, what happens? Either the woman is disappointed and she mad, she upset that you don't want to do that no more, or you want to keep doing it and she don't want to do it no more. She get tired of acting. And you still with the my queen and my honey and they don't want that. They want to be aligned with someone who is highly rational and somewhat cold with certain things, right? When it comes to emotion and romance, you see, they want someone who's somewhat cold in that department, serpentine-like. Because when you have a man who is focused on bigger things, when he tends to focus his level of intelligence on greater things and whatnot, that's the same, and he has an intensity with that. That's the same intensity the man is going to bring with lovemaking, because he's not going to do it from or for lack of better, for sex. I don't want to use the word lovemaking. I hate that word. When he comes with the sex part of it, it's going to be more intense, because again, there's no emotion and romance involved, right? He's going to bring to you and the same intensity that he has on the forward movement and the focus of life that he has. That's what he's going to put into the sex. He's going to put that into the sex, and that is the best sex for any woman to have. A man who is going in unto you, who has a bigger, broader picture of the future, because then that means you're included in that as well, and that extends you mentally. You feel it every time you touch that man, every time you know that man has a purpose, and it helps to extend your purpose. You see, emotions and romance get in the way of when it comes to the extension of purpose. Because again, before the beast was talking about hearts and candy and romance and all this other nonsense, people were still having sex. And long after that garbage is going, that idea of emotion and romance, people are going to still be having sex, because again, it's a necessity. It's a necessity for men and women to come together sexually, because the sexual part of it is really supposed to be a physical extension of the mental part. I'm going to say it again. The sexual part of it is supposed to be a physical extension of the mental part of it. So when you two merge together sexually, it's supposed to be a mental intensity that takes place, not an emotional or a romantic one, a mental intensity that takes place. And it ain't supposed to be all that lovey-dovey crap and all this other stuff and whatnot, because that after a while sickens a man. That sickens a man. Right? And when it's coming from a man, it sickens a woman. That sickens a woman. Right? When they talk about power couples and things like that, power couples are people who are getting things done together collectively. The power is not driven by romance and emotion. That's not power. You see? That takes the power out of a sexual connection and a relationship. It takes the power out. You see? Exactly. The fourth dimensional stimulation is a mental stimulation, a sexually mental stimulation, a mentally sexual stimulation. That's why I refer to myself as a mentasexual. I am a mentasexual because, again, I am driven by the mind, the mental, and the sex is the extension of the mental connection and stimulation for me, not the emotional part, not the romantic part. I don't like emotion and I don't like romance at all. I do not like emotion and I do not like romance. Why? Because it's not real. It's not real. You know, I look at it like sugar and cotton candy and ice cream, all the things that make me sick and want to throw up, all the sweet crap that make me sick and want to throw up. I don't like it. You see, I don't. And no real man does. Only you males do. You convert it, because again, when you see the males doing stuff like on their knees and getting you boxes of chocolate and candy and all this other nonsense and catering to a woman, they don't really, again, a lot of them don't really want to do that. But they know that they're not going to get any sex, so the woman is taught that he should not get sex if he does not do these things. And him wanting sex from you, right, he knows he has to do these things if he wants that. And then again, it's games. And it becomes sexual blackmail. If you don't make me feel this way, if you don't get emotional with me, if you're not getting romantic or getting in character with me, then you're not getting none. And he going to get in character because he wants some. He going to play the game with you. You see? That's nonsense. That's a bunch of nonsense. In the fourth dimension, there's no games. In the fourth dimension, there is no games. See, in this three-dimensional level, people play all kinds of games. A woman will be dealing with you 1 minute, a man will be dealing with you 1 minute, and then you think they dealing with you because of one thing. Next thing you know, you be like, oh, damn, I thought that's what it was. But that ain't what it was. People play all kinds of games because, again, anything in this three-dimensional realm is unstable. Any sexual contact you have with somebody in this three-dimensional realm is unstable. You understand that? It's unstable. You see? And when you have things like that, when you have connections like that, again, they're not based on anything. They're not based on anything. There's nothing lasting about it. Right? Women are ready to move on from men who will become too emotional and too romantic. Women are ready to move on, but like I said, he's only doing what he thinks he has to do. He don't know what he's really supposed to do. What you really need as opposed to what you want. The woman really needs a stable and non-emotional sexual partner, a stable and non-emotional and highly intelligent sexual partner, one who is connected to the Creator, if she's going to lay down with somebody, because again, that person can add to her life. Again, the greatest thing a woman can get from a man, because you got a lot of these guys out here, after they done had sex with you, all they want to talk about is how much they into you, what y'all going to do, all that romantic crap and all that emotional crap. But the best thing you can get from a man after sex is ideas and thoughts and, real talk about the future. That's the best thing you can get. You can't get that from some emotional and romantic idiot. You can't get that. You can't get nothing for your life. You can't get no thoughts for your life, no extended thoughts for your life from somebody who's caught up in emotion and romance. That's like about somebody's under a goddamn trance. You might want to have a serious talk or something like that, something deep and whatnot, and they sitting up here, yeah, I love you, and you love me, and do I love you, and we love each other? Come on, man. No. That's not going to sustain anybody. And it will not be good for people in the long run. Because you got a lot of these males out here, when they get so caught up in that emotional vibe, that female vibe, that emotional and romantic vibe, these guys, don't they tend to go crazy? Don't they tend to go crazy? When they see that is not being returned from the woman they desire. She might have slept with him one time and thought she was all into that romantic thing and him catering to her. But then after a while, she gets tired of that. And she get a guy who ain't doing that. She'll go and lay down with a man who ain't going to cater to them sexually, who ain't going to be all romantic and emotional, but they going to still give him the sex though, right? Yeah, they'll give him the sex now. And they'll last a lot longer. They'll submit to that man who is not emotional and not romantic. They will submit to that man over that guy who doing all the things that they thought they wanted. They will submit faster to that man, and they will be with that man because that man is not doing what the other man was doing, which was catering to foolishness, emotions, and romance. Catering to that foolishness, not catering to flowers and candy and all this BS. You see? And begging. Again, nobody respects a beggar. Nobody respects a person who kisses their ass, be it man or woman. So you must have an understanding of where I'm coming from with this. As we approach in the fourth dimension, the elect, our relationships will not be based on emotion and romance and the notion that romance and emotion is going to keep us together. That's false. That is false. That is a notion. That is a notion that is quickly starting to fade away. The reality comes out. Again, the women will play that role like, oh, that's what I want from a man. But then when a man give that to you, I'm tired of this nigga. He whack. He too much up on me. You know what I mean? Damn. You know, he need to fall back. He want to call me all the time. He wanted me to come over. He want to tell me how much he loved me. He wants she into me. He rather cater to me. Y'all don't want that. You women would much rather cater to a man and that man's intelligence. You would much rather cater to that. You would much rather want to reach for that, be attracted to that, and extend yourself to that as opposed to the emotional part, as opposed to the romantic part. You see, that's not the thing to breed on. You see, again, what makes sex much better is when these things are not involved, when romance and emotion are not involved, when there's this pure and raw energy that is coming from a mental connection, the pure and raw energy that comes from a mental connection. And knowing when to walk away and then coming back later, knowing when to pack it up and leave and come back later and being respectful of people's time. See, because where there is intelligence there is respect. Where there is intelligence, there's respect, or at least there should be. Where there's intelligence, there's respect for people's time. There's respect for people's grind and what they're doing in life, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish in life, what they're working to accomplish in life. There's respect for that with the intelligence. When you got somebody who's emotional and romantic, that's nothing but all kinds of goddamn ignorance. That's people coming to your goddamn job telling, when you don't want to be, when they wait just because they can't get hold of you or whatever the case may be, they come into your job, they watching who you walking around with, they watching you coming out your job, they surprising you at your house, coming up and doing all this nonsense and foolishness. Because that's that emotional demon and that romance demon that got hold of them. And I do refer to it as a demon only because the beast constantly pushes that energy and that frequency in this society through the Valentine's days and the romantic novels and all this other crap. You see? Because you ask any man out here now, the average male out here, what he got to do to get a woman there. Was like, I'm going to take out dinner, I'm going to buy some candy, I'm going to buy some chocolates, I'm going to buy some this, I'm going to cater to her, and this, that, and the third, I'm going to do this, that, and the third. Right? He does that because he has nothing mentally to offer to the woman. When you see a man who is willing to cater to a woman's emotions and romantic notions, it's because he has nothing to offer mentally to her. It's not because that's how he really is. It's because he has nothing to offer mentally to her at all. Because I'm pretty sure real women would rather have the meat. They would rather have the meat, the real substance of a man, and not just the outer core. Because that outer core, that emotion and that romance represents the outer core, and that's not even really his core. He's only following what he thinks he's supposed to be or what you want. And like I said, a lot of you women, because you're under that trance of romance and emotion, you think that's what you want. But like I said, it always wears off. When you can always say you want that when you're not with somebody because you watching Valentine's Day when you ain't got a Valentine's, ain't nobody gave you no goddamn flowers and no fake cutout hearts and all this other BS. When somebody hasn't done that for you, or you seeing your friends getting married and putting on the dress and all this other nonsense, and you seeing all this and you like, damn, I wish I had that. You like, damn, I wish I was like that. I wish I had that. I wish I could be in that type of thing. And you start becoming envious of that, and then you start thinking you want that. And then next thing you know, you get that, and then you find out you really don't want that. You find out you really don't want that. You see? You find out you don't really want that. You didn't want it at all. You see? That reality always sets in. But what you will want after that reality sets in, you're still going to want to get laid. You're going to still want sex. You women are still going to have that physical urge to have sex. That ain't going nowhere. That ain't going nowhere. You see? And now that you are in the world, and you have to, because you've been in this emotional and romantic fog in your life. You've been in that whole program training of what a relationship is supposed to be between a man and a woman, and the romance and the emotion, and then comes with that. After that comes the jealousy, right? The envy and the jealousy after that. Then you're going to be like, well, damn, is this really what it's supposed to be? And then, like I said, you eventually you answer with a definitive no. No. You find out that's not what it's supposed to be. And like I said, you know that by the longevity of these relationships out here. What is the longevity of these relationships out here? Not long. Not very long. Because those relationships that you see today was all filled with, I guarantee you, they were all filled with emotion and romance and very little intelligence, if any. All emotion and romance and very little intelligence. Because if it was a sexual intelligence there, if there was a high sexual intelligence there, then that man and that woman can operate with each other forever. They could deal with each other, because again, there's respect there with that intelligence. There's rationale there. Ain't people acting out of character. Ain't people acting crazy and whatnot, because that emotion and that romance will take you into all kinds of crazy directions. It will take you into all kinds of crazy directions, whether it's coming from the man or the woman. You don't want it to come from a damn man. It's bad enough coming from a woman. You don't want that coming from a man. You don't want that those emotional things coming from a man. You see, you don't want that. There's nothing worse than seeing an emotional man who is out of control. And again, you women cater to that because, again, you wanted the man to be emotional. You wanted him to be romantic. You wanted him to do all this stuff. And you demand that he do all this stuff before he get to have sex with you. He got to take you out, buy you flowers, do all this stuff, and play the game. And you know deep down inside, he really don't want to do that. He don't want to do that. He's only trying to cater to you. He's trying to be, what you think what he's trying to cater to that illusion of what you think you want. Romance and emotion. You understand? So now when he's doing all these things and you looking at somebody who really, deep down inside don't really want to do all that stuff. They just really want to spend time with you, right? They want to spend time with you, have sex with you, get with you. That right there should be a powerful foundation for something, because if a man and a woman can spend time and focused in on each other and then connected with each other, that's a powerful thing, because a lot of things, the most powerful conversation could come out when a man and a woman is being real, when they are relaxed enough to be real, when there is no more emotional crap. There's no more romantic crap. When they just, raw and uncut, down and here's what it is. You understand? This is what it is. That, when the person they feel like they have to play games, then that's all you're going to get is games, because that's all emotion and romance brings is a bunch of games, a bunch of mind games. And why do I say it's mind games? Because, again, it throws off your level to think. It throws off your ability to think. Because when you're trying to find a rational high ground, when you're trying to find a rational high ground, somebody's on the other side playing with you, somebody you might be dealing with, they playing all kinds of emotional and romantic games on that. You trying to talk to them straight and trying to, and they talking all crazy to you, saying all kind of crazy stuff, and why you don't love me, why you don't show me no emotion, why you not romantic. You see? And they coming at you with this, and you try to explain to them why that is, and they're not trying to hear that. They're not trying to hear that. And again, now you got somebody who's unstable around you. You got somebody who's mentally unstable, because that's what romance and emotion does to people. It makes them mentally unstable. It starts them bugging out. It starts women trying to key your goddamn car up, break your windows out when they find out you've been with another woman. You understand? Sexually, whatever. They want to burn your clothes. Or the man, he finds out you've been with another, he ready to kill you, kill a man, all this madness. All this madness. When 9 times out of 10 you wouldn't have been with another man, the woman wouldn't have been with another man if you would have been being the man you were supposed to be. And that is a man who is based in logic and rationale. A man who is based in logic and rationale. A man who is based in logic and rationale. Not no goddamn emotion and romance. You understand? You niggas let the white man fag y'all all out. And that go for all you men around here in this society. You let the beast fag you niggas out, man. You niggas all fagged out. Y'all a bunch of beta males. Now, I say I'm an alpha beta male. I ain't no damn beta male. I'm an alpha and a beta. You understand? Together. If that was a definition for it. But I'm always alpha first. Alpha first. Alpha man first. Beta man second in the second part. Because, again, I say being that I'm moving first, yeah. But that's all part of, because, again, there's really no such thing as two. All right? Like you said, there's no such thing as second place. There's first place or you lost. Is there really a such thing as second place? No, goddammit. There's first place or your ass lost. Ain't no third place, ain't no second place. So again, these things don't have room in the first place. They don't have room. You see, they don't. And people got to learn that. Especially if you want to get the most out of your sexual encounters. Especially since you want to get the most out of your sexual encounters, your sexual connections, when there's no games, where there's no foolishness, where there's no stupidity, where it's not people acting a certain way and then they're going to act another way in the next minute. People who are emotionally immature. People who are romantically immature. Because you're supposed to be above and beyond that thing. You're supposed to be above and beyond these things. You're supposed to be above the romance and the emotion. You're supposed to be above that. You see? Because like I said, if that don't exist, y'all going to still get together and y'all going to still have sex. Because you have that necessity. It's in you to want to do that. It's in you to want to merge with a man. It is in a man to want to merge with a woman. It's in them to want to do that. Y'all call it getting horny. Okay, whatever. But that's just a biological need. Notice I say a biological need. That is a biological need. You see? That is a necessity. You see? But it has to be done right. It has to be engaged, and it has to be brought about right. Because if it's not, then you're going to get a lot of chaos and confusion. You're going to get a lot of emotions that are going to get stirred up. You're going to get a lot of energy that you don't want, that you don't need. That's what you're going to get out of these emotional and romantic relationships, these emotional and romantic sexual encounters. So there has to be an evolution to it. There has to be something that is beyond it so that men and women can come together and function together as a unit, as a well-machined and mechanical unit. You see? I use the word mechanical because you say, oh, mechanical is like artificial. No, I don't use it that way. When I say mechanism or mechanic, I mean something that's a well-oiled machine, something that's in a working order. You know, a man and woman is supposed to be, or their sexual encounters are supposed to go in a working order. It's supposed to be a working order to your sexual encounters. And the only way a working order gets established as the foundation in your sexual encounters is by way of intelligence. Higher intelligence, not romance and not emotion. Because you see so many of these relationships that are falling apart because of that. I want to thank everybody. We had an excellent class out there. I want to take the time to thank everybody, all the family, the Mentalian family in Orlando, Florida. We had an excellent class. We had a great turnout, and it was beautiful. Like I said, more came through me than I thought was going to come through. More came through than I thought. And it was excellent, beautiful. I look forward to going back into the Florida area. We're probably going to do Miami next year, a bigger city. But like I said, I look forward to it. A lot of good members are coming out of that class. New members are coming out of that class. Next level members are going to be in that class. They already talking about they sending their letters in, and they want to hand me their letters and all this stuff. This is real. So I thank you all for making my first visit, and definitely not my last visit to Florida, enjoyable. We're right back. I just had something funny happen. YouTube decided to take down my critique on the Harriet Tubman movie. Now you got to ask yourself, why would YouTube care about my critique on a movie? I didn't threaten to kill anybody. I didn't threaten to take nobody's life. I mean, I thought this was America, right? And you're supposed to have freedom of speech, right? Now, you can go on YouTube and find girls twerking. You can find women talking about, you can find all kinds of sexual talk on there. You can even find thread about people killing each other, right? You can find stuff on YouTube where people, series on there, these guys doing their little video, little street documentaries, and they acting out people getting shot and killed. You see way type of worse stuff on YouTube than me critiquing a goddamn movie, a lousy movie at that. Yes, Harriet was a lousy movie. Keep your money. Don't go to see that. But the reason why they do that is because it goes into what I'm saying in a way tonight. In a way, they want black women, black females to be connected emotionally to that Harriet Tubman nonsense, the emotion, the romance. You see? Right? I spoke beyond their community standards, outside their standards. And in their community standards, you got to be a good nigga. They want niggas to be a certain way. They want niggas to agree, because what they're really saying their community standard is they want you to agree with what they want you to say. You can't think for yourself. That's really what the community standard is. What are you doing thinking outside of what we tell you to think, or trying to put up things that we don't like? But I thought YouTube was your channel. I thought as long as you're not trying to kill anybody or inciting any violence, which I've never done in any of my videos, but I've had pages taken down. Why? My thing is, if people don't like the content, then don't watch it. You can go on here and find all kind of racist stuff with white people saying, calling black people all kind of niggas and everything else. Those pages are still up. Those pages are still up. And I'll say this, and I'm going to get back into this in a minute. When these people was claiming all that, they talk all this white supremacy stuff, right? You don't see none of their pages getting taken down, right? You know what pages getting taken down? Really, what pages get taken down is the pages that make you think. When you say things that make people think outside the box, YouTube and the Beast, they don't like that. They want everybody on code, like that nigga Tariq Nasheed say. They want you niggas on code. They want you talking about white supremacy and white this and white power and and following the society and voting and still trying to get along. They want you niggas all loving Harriet Tubman. They don't want no critical analysis on it, because they want the so-called black woman to be emotionally and romantically attached to the idea of that bullshit that they promoted on the screen of Harriet Tubman's life. A real woman who put her life on the line, right, to get herself to freedom and her people. You see, not that BS. They want you to fall in love with because again, you're going to start to see that with a lot, because Comcast, the people that made Harriet Tubman, the people behind Harriet Tubman, the big communications company that put up the money for Harriet, they lost money on that movie because the movie did terrible. And they're probably trying to stop any bad reviews. They probably reached out to YouTube to try and stop black people, so-called black people, from saying anything negative about it. So I'm probably one of the people that got hit. They probably knocked down all the bad reviews on Harriet, you see, because they lost money, you see. But it's all good, though. I got out what I wanted to say. It's whatever, you know. But again, that just lets you know the power of thought. Because if they're willing to flag people just for, you know, conveying thoughts, that tells you something. That's the power of thought. And again, the power of thought is what sexual connection should be based on. The power of thought, the power of sexual thought, and the intelligence that's going to come out of that when people not being phony. When people not being phony, you understand? When people are not being phony, then intelligence can come into play. People can start to be their real self. They ain't got to play games. You see, when people are not being phony. But when people are being phony, that tends to get in the way of that intellectual and sexual connection. It brings or lessens the connection. It lessens the connection. It doesn't extend it, it lessens it. You see? It lessens the connection, and again, what will extend it, what will take it to a higher level, is the wiping away of the emotion and the romantic thing. And again, that's hard for a lot of you women, because y'all think in your mind that that's naturally how y'all supposed to be, and that's a lot of BS. Because if that's naturally how y'all supposed to be, realistically, if that's naturally how y'all supposed to be, then why y'all ain't with guys who like that? Because you got guys who will worship the ground you walk on, you know, kiss your ass, do all the stuff you claim you want. You got guys out here who will do that, but they ain't got nobody. Why is that? And these are not bad-looking guys. Some of these guys are nice-looking and whatnot. They'll be nice-looking guys, but you don't want those guys. Why? Why do you want the guy who the world might consider to be an asshole? He might be considered to be an asshole. He might be considered to be a narcissist. He might be considered arrogant. You know why y'all like that guy? Because he's being his real self. You understand? And it takes courage to be your real self. It takes a level of security and a level of intelligence. It may be not on a higher level, but on some level, you know, a person who's willing to be themselves and not be phony. Because then you can be free to be yourself, and then you can have a good sexual encounter with each other when y'all free to be yourself. There are no inhibitions. You can have a good sexual encounter with somebody. You ain't got to feel like, oh, I got to be this way with them. I got to do it that way. If I don't move this way, I don't do it. If I do this too good, they're going to think I'm a hoe. Or I do this, they're going to think I'm a trick. Oh, y'all ain't got to deal with all that. You just naturally expressing yourself and what is in you. And that is a high mental connection. When people feel a level of comfortability, how you say? When they feel a level of comfort, they can freely extend themselves mentally. Like I said, if you notice, when you done had a good meal, you done had good sex, you just relaxed with somebody, then you can just start freely talking about the things you have on your mind. That's in those critical moments. There is no all that hugging and loving all up on each other and all that stuff. And y'all could genuinely start to have a conversation about what you want. That's when the real person comes out, when they relaxed. That's when the guards are down, nobody playing the romance game, the emotion game, the guards are down, and you saying what it is that's really in your mind to say. You're letting it be known the things that's in your mind is coming out to be said. And you can be real with that, what's coming directly from your mind. And people claim they want to know, people say when the person get quiet, they be like, what's on your mind? Notice how they say that? They don't really a lot of times want to know what's really on your mind. You see? Right? They don't really want to know. But reality is you get to see, and it comes out who and what this person is. Right? What they stand for. Again, you can't hide from that once emotion and romance is in the mix, people can hide through that. People can hide who they truly are. Don't y'all realize that? People can hide who they really are through romance and emotion. A guy can keep buying you a bunch of flowers. He can keep buying you candy. He can keep taking you on trips. He can buy you a diamond ring. He can buy you a car. He can do all these things because he's hiding something. You know what he's hiding? He's hiding the fact that there is no mental connection to anything else, so he has to make up for it in physical things and emotional things, things that he feels will keep you emotionally and romantically invested in him, because there's nothing after that. There is nothing after that but an empty vessel. That's what that male is. That male is an empty vessel. And he don't want you to find out that. He don't want you to find out that. So, like I said, after the love is gone, no substance. After you get past him buying you stuff and spending money on you and whatnot, you're going to eventually get tired of that. Some women say, I ain't going to get tired of no man. Yes, you is. Because again, why do you see women who have men who got money and they'll be with these guys? These guys will be spending money on them, and they'll barely be giving these guys sex or anything. They'll go to a guy who ain't giving them nothing and give up and do everything with him sexually. They'll go and be with that guy who ain't catering to them and who ain't doing all that romantic stuff. They'll go be with that guy. But the guy who's doing that for them, they don't want to be with that guy. So go figure. Is that really the nature of a woman to really want to be catered to and have that emotional romantic thing? If there are a whole bunch of males out here with no woman who are willing to do that, right? And the guys who got all the women who ain't doing that, why is that? You understand that? Why? You see? That's all that is. That's all that is. Realize it for what it is, one big game. Realize it for what it is, one big game. You see? That's all that's about, one big game. One big game of nonsense and foolishness, stupidity and ignorance. Again, sexual ignorance. Emotion and romance is really sexual ignorance. Emotion and romance is really sexual ignorance, because you're never going to get to the core of that person that you laying down with, the person you sleeping with. You're never going to get to the core of those people, because, again, that facade is up of emotion and romance. It's there. And it has to come down. That has to come down if relationships are going to last going forward into the future. You have to be real with each other. And reality is, what level of intelligence are you on? That's reality. What level of intelligence are you on? How far are you thinking into the future? Not just for me and you, but for you first and foremost, because you could say me and you, but I first ask you, and that's what women's supposed to ask, what are your plans for the next 5 or 10 years? Not what are your plans with me? Because a man can tell you anything about his plans with you. No, what is his plans for him? Then you start thinking, then you start wondering down the line about how the things will look down the line between you and him. He'll tell you right there. He'll tell you right there if he's worth sleeping with, based on what he wants to do, or factually, if it's that he's just energy or power. Is he energy or power? Can he, like I was saying in my class Sunday, is he just a whole lot of hot air, which is what energy is. Energy is a whole lot of hot air and a whole lot of potential, but no follow-through. Follow-through is the power. The ability to follow through is the power. The energy is the potential. You see? You could take a whole bunch of people with potential, and you could be the only one with the power to unify and organize these people and push them forward. That's what Bill Gates did. I mean, what's that guy named, what's the guy that everybody loved who started Apple? Steve Jobs. That's all he did. He took a bunch of people who was nothing but energy, a bunch of energy, and he put it all together. And he became the powerful one. So again, the same analogy works in these relationships. Yeah, a whole lot of people out here that's full of energy. But when the woman sees a man of power, they're going to submit to that. They're going to submit to that because they want to be a part of that power, because women are full of energy. And they always look for a man to be the power. What does that translate into? The power translates into the law. And the energy becomes the order. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? The power is the law. The energy is the order. That's why the sexual encounters have to change. That's why the sexual encounters have to change. It can't be based on no emotion and romance. That's illogical. That's illogical because you know damn well your sexual encounters ain't based on that. Because like I said, if you ain't in love with somebody, you're gonna find somebody that you at least tolerate to get lay down and screw. Because you're gonna have that sexual need. You'll find somebody who you can tolerate. You women know that. You'll find you ain't gotta be all in love with nobody and all that other shit. You ain't gotta be in love with nobody. You ain't gotta be. You'll find somebody that's tolerable, a friend, somebody, and you'll screw that person. Just so he shut up long enough so you can get off, get your orgasm, and go about your business. You see? So knock it off with the emotion shit and the romance shit. Knock it off. That's a bunch of white man's bullshit. And he even knows it. But again, you so-called black women, you get caught up in that. Hell, the white woman know. The white woman know. You see? She knows. She know what it is. Y'all better wake up, like I said, because again, this is how our relationships, our sexual encounters will be defined through a high mental connection. We'll be right back. Yeah, I was, I said something. I was talking to the brothers earlier. Well, yesterday, I talked about, how they show you in those 1950s. You ever see those 1950 shows like Leave It to Beaver and all that? And they basically was trying to show you the submissive wife who cook and clean and take care of the children, and she's a housewife and brings her husband his slippers and his pipe when he's home and cook his food and everything, massage him and whatnot. When you saw stuff like that, when they put those images out in the 50s, and a lot of people started to follow that image that the Beast put out, right? Like shows like Leave It to Beaver and Father Knows Best and all those type of shows. I've seen them, like, I ain't that old. I've seen them in the, of course, the reruns and everything. But, I noticed some, I tend to attract to things and see things, on a whole nother level. That's the Almond vision. The women who were doing those things that were catering to the men, right, who would basically probably be coming home from work and things, like the women who did that back then, they were really catering to the men because they wanted sex from those men. They knew that a man had to be in a calm and relaxing mood, that things would have to be right. They were setting a tone for the man. They were setting a tone and a frequency for the man by doing that. A lot of women started to follow that suit, right? They were trying to set a mood, a tone, and frequency for the man so that they can have a sexual encounter. That's what that was for. It ain't no all that wifely duties and all that BS. Right? Because at one point they tried to make, men for the longest time believed that women didn't enjoy sex. You know that, right? For the longest time, men thought that was just a pleasurable thing for men. They had no idea. That women enjoyed sex. Y'all know that? They knew nothing about a woman having an orgasm. They didn't know nothing about the clitoris. They didn't know nothing about any of this stuff. Men had no clue. Then the white man started trying to do them sexual education classes later on in the 60s and stuff like that. But prior to that, men had no idea about a woman's body. And if a man has no idea about a woman's body, then he definitely don't understand her mind. Because her mind and her body is supposed to be in alignment, just as your mind and body is supposed to be in alignment. You see? Just as your mind and body is supposed to be in alignment, hers is supposed to be as well. So if men didn't even understand that women, because like I said, men thought that they just enjoyed sex. You see, that's why, and then when they would see, and they would think that because it was usually men that chased sex the hardest. Back then, men would chase women the hardest, right? And they didn't know, they always thought it was just men. A lot of young males, they always thought that men were getting more out of it than the women. They always thought the men was getting more out of it. But not so. That's not so. You see? Men had to learn. You still got these males that still don't know today. They still don't know. And what happens is they need to do something because of their ignorance. They need to do something to make up for their ignorance to get a woman. I told you, the romantic route, the emotional route to sex is, it's a route. You can take that route, but it won't last long. It's a quick route that won't last long. You see, you can take that route, but it will not last long. And you're going to get caught up in your emotions taking that route that is the wrong road to take when you want sexual encounters or connection with a woman. The strongest road to take, the most continuous road to take is the mental road. Without emotion, without romance, the mental road. That is the road to take in a continuous sexual connection with a woman. Now, some men are not going to be able to travel on that road because they're not there mentally. A lot of men are very emotionally and mentally immature. And the women, and let me tell you something, you women are very intelligent. Women are very intelligent. One thing you know, if you don't know nothing else, one thing a woman knows is the level of intelligence of the man that she's laying down with, the man who's going inside her. She knows his level of intelligence. She knows his drive. Does she not? You know the level of man that you lay down with, that you let go inside you and whatnot, that you let ejaculate inside of you. You know that man's level, what his potential is, and what he cannot do. You know what he can do and what he cannot do. You know if he is energy or power. You know if he is energy or power. I told you there's only two forms of that on the planet. You got two forms of motion on the planet. You got those who are motivated by energy and those who are motivated by power. You see, those who are energy and those who are power. You know if you laying down with power or energy. Most of you women are laying down with a lot of energy and no power. Most of you women are sleeping with and allowing letting a bunch of males with energy. Or some men. You got some men, and I'm not going to just say all men are power. Some men are just energy. But then you got higher men, extended men who are power. All people are not. All men and women are not meant to be power. They're meant to be a part of the power. But the ultimate power is in the rulership and the control and the direction of that power. You can be a part of the power as energy in the power, and then you become part of that power. But when you are separate from that power, then you become just like energy, like anybody else. Like what did I say about black people? I said, as a bunch of individual niggas, y'all don't mean nothing. Y'all just a bunch of energy moving around the damn planet that's being utilized by the white man and all of them who stand in the seat of power because they work together. But when y'all come into community or covenant, you become part of the power. You are no longer energy in that. But you people are useless energy. When you are individuals, when you're dealing with somebody based on emotion and romance, you're dealing with somebody who is useless energy, and you know that. You're dealing with somebody who's nothing but useless energy over time. You just, how you say, I'm just passing time with this person. What do you think they mean when they say I'm passing time with this person? You know a guy that you with, you just sleeping with, you know this nigga is going to be pretty much over with after a while, because you just wanted some. You know what I'm saying? You women get like that. Y'all just wanted some. And the guy, you could have been a guy who was your friend, somebody y'all was cool with. You know what I'm saying? And you just like, all right, I'm going to get him some and whatnot, see how that is. And then when I get tired of this, because you know he's all energy and no power. All energy and no power. You see? The power is the mind. The power is the mind. The strongest mind is the greatest sex. The man who carries the strongest mind carries the greatest sex, the most extended sex. Not somebody who is on it, because you got levels. You got levels. You got levels. You got levels to men. You got levels to women. The highest level of woman is a woman who wants the highest intense sexual connection with the most intelligent man. That's the highest level of woman. It's like she wants to be plugged into a power source. She wants to be plugged into a power source. She wants to be part of that power source. Not many women are fit to be that. Not many women are fit to be that, because what you have to sacrifice in order to have that is emotion and romance. That is what you have to sacrifice. In order to have that sexual power, that sexual powerful connection with the most highly intelligent being that you can find and whatnot, who is of you, is you have to sacrifice emotion and romance. The notion of that, the false notion of that, you have to sacrifice it. You got to let that go. You see? Because it prevents men from being powerful. It prevents men from being who they really are. And it also prevents you from seeing them for what they're not. See, again, I told you, men hide behind romance. Men hide behind emotions. Same way women do. They hide behind that. You see? But when that's gone, ain't nothing to hide behind no more now, is it? Is it? Is there anything to hide behind anymore once all that's gone? Once all the emotion is gone? Once all the romance and all other crap is gone? There's nothing else left to hide. So now you're just out here all raw and naked to the world, and this person see you for who you is. Now you better be able to stand up for as who you really are, or else, like I said, that person gonna leave you alone. That person gonna leave you alone, because once all that is gone, and it always goes away. Emotion and romance always leaves. I don't care how, it always goes. And what's left after that's gone is the real you. That's what's left. Now, if you see some of these couples who are still together after years and years and years, then what that means is that woman found that man, what was left after the emotion, what was left after the romance, she found that man was a higher level of being. For her anyway. He represented a higher principle, a higher ideal to her. So that's why she stayed with him. Because if it was just about emotion and romance like it is with a lot of you younger people today, then that shit would have been over with. It would have been over with. Romance and emotion only going to get you so far. It's only going to get you so far. And that's not far at all. That's not far at all. Hear me. The best sex is mental sex with the highest mental receiver, the highest or the intelligence you can find. Let me take a call. 702, you're on air.
Hey, this is Nicholas Jackson from Las Vegas. I just wanted to share a little bit, but I won't hold you that long. But what I wanted to share was, not recently, but 6 months ago, I had to end a relationship because of what you were saying, man. You're basically on point, but I went through the same experience as the chick I was with. She wanted to kill herself because our relationship wasn't really as strong, like mentally, but the fact that she tried to do all physical things to like please me and everything else. But I told her, look, it's more than just pleasing me with goods and food and like sex, but like you have to connect to me mentally as far as like again on the same level. But she didn't get it. So as time went on and went on, she just always had this notion. She always thought that I was cheating on her. She always had this feeling like I would have somebody else other than her. But I was always focused on her, but I had other goals just being with just her. And it just went to the shit all over.
Okay.
But like, just being in a relationship for like 3.5 years, and then like we just had to break it up because I couldn't deal with all the emotion that was just added to it, and it was just a headache, and it was so annoying.
Well, that's what happens when when you dragging somebody who's emotionally immature and dependent and codependent on you. That is the worst thing to be for a man and a woman to be, and that's what you experience. So now that that's broken off, and then she's going to try to use the emotional blackmail or killing herself to try to get you to stay. So again, these are the games that they play, man, because again, there is no maturity there. There is no mental maturity there. There's only emotional instability. There's only romantic instability. So all that, again, has to go. When you meet a woman and you tell a woman what you are from off the jump, you tell her that's not what you are, and she can only respect that, and then she'll either deal with you or not. Well,
partially, I blame myself because I kind of allow her to do that, and I allow myself.
Okay, brother. But listen, listen, brother. You gotta quiet. Your line is bad, and I got 5 minutes. I gotta do these questions. I gotta go. You call back in tomorrow, okay? I mean Wednesday.
All right, cool.
All right. All right, let me go ahead and read this question before we get out there. What is the evolution of sex without emotion and romance? It is basically a mental connection that extends into a sexual one, or a sexual one extends more into a mental one. But in the outset of it, it all should be mental, and it should continue to be mental. You should continue to keep it mental, not emotional, not romantic, but continue to keep it mental. Laughing and smiling is good when there's reason to laugh and smile. Thought is provoking and should always be first. Why is it necessary? Because, again, this is what's going to keep you together going forward, right? You can have a person in your mind mentally forever, but in your heart, your so-called emotional and romantic heart, that's temporary. Is sexual contact empty without emotional romance? Is sexual contact empty without emotional romance? No. Actually, emotion and romance is what makes sex empty. That's what empties out sex. See, because you can never get the fullness of sex because people are always feeling as though they have to act. They have to tone down certain things. They can't show you the real things that they want to do and whatnot because they're trying to play a role of romantic and emotional or something. You know, they're trying to hold back. People should be who they want to be in the throes of those types of passions. Why is romance and emotion attached to sex? Because the beast attaches to sex. The so-called white man attaches to sex. Because, again, he was looking with things like Valentine's Day and all this other crap. You know, he was just basically looking to control your rules of engagement, because the true rules of engagement are supposed to be logical ones. Your sexual connections are supposed to be logical connections, and you should be drawn to somebody sexually who you are mentally attracted to. Was it supposed to be that way? Was it supposed to be that way? Without emotion, yeah, it was on a higher level. But when you got to a lower level, this is what it became. It started off on a higher level with the projections of Amen. Those of us, we came onto this earth, and when we started coming together with the woman and man coming together, it was a logical thing. Like so I said, you took the people who was considered to be the smartest and you made it with them. You laid with them. You extended with them. Now it's all about emotion and romance and no intelligence involved. And that's it. We're going to close out in the name of Amen by the power of Amen. In Amen we trust, in Amen we think, and in Amen we continue forward forever. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. This has been Mentellect Radio. See y'all back here Wednesday night. Good night. Rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. The students public of Mentellect, black race to the white race.
If it's hell, Amen, then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capable.